All right. Oh, well, I'll go with that. All right. I will probably get the bat signal at some point. But until then, talking about mate selection among younger versus older women. And this is part of a larger conversation, which I'm going to have later on, and it has to do with intelligence. There are 7 signs of the new IQ, which is the holistic IQ. We're talking about how you can use mass manufactured stupidity to advance your goals. And you can actually exploit the stupidity of society as a whole. Again, taking different approaches these days and changing a lot and all this stuff. So, anyway. All right. So in today's video, I want to talk about very quickly. We're not going to go into all the stuff I wanted to go into. I'm just going to talk about mate selection among older versus younger women. I don't know who this will serve. I just know that I got a ping when I thought of putting it out there. So today, I'll tell you a quick story. Today, I was at the store, saw 2 incredibly, what I would say are incredibly attractive women. Both look to be, I'll use my terms and I'll explain them. Both look to be Mongolian Marian mixture, which is perhaps they had ancestors from the Philippines and some sort of what a lot of people call black or colored ancestry. Okay. We'll say African, even though it's irrelevant, but or opposite, it doesn't apply. Anyway, one of their parents could have looked like me, and the other one probably looked Chinese. We'll put it that way. But both these women had 2 different encounters, and they were incredibly attractive, like incredibly attractive, both of them. One was older; she was probably my age range, somewhere between 35 and 40, and then the other one was clearly some 20. We'll say 18 to 24-year-old. You never know with a mixture like this and Mongolian. You could be 50 and look like you're 20. So who knows? So she could have been 45. Not likely. The way she walked like a kid. So she was probably somewhere 20, 18 to 22, somewhere in there. Anyway, so 2 different ends of the SMV for women. SMV stands for sexual marketplace value, but also 2 different ends of a woman's, we'll say, peak. Okay, women tend to, in just about all societies holistically, again, there are always exceptions, but exceptions don't negate the rule. The exceptions are awesome, and I tend to live in the exceptions. But typically, women's prime is between age 18 and early 30s. Okay, we'll say 35. But a man's prime doesn't start till about 35. So, because young men don't have really a prime. The function that they serve within society, by the time they don't even match that until they're in their 30s, unless they're exceptional. They started a business very young, and they learned about themselves, and they're old souls, and they're wise, and they're mature. Men usually are not ready for marriage or long-term relationships until their mid-30s. But that's when women's peak tends to come to an end. And this is unfortunately a biological observation that I've made, despite all the rhetoric around you go girl and you're sexy until you're 122. There are lots of beautiful women that I've interacted with that are in their much older 60s and whatnot. They're gorgeous. They're amazing. But on the general, 99 out of 100 men would typically go for the younger woman. So these 2 women were at the 2 ends of the sexual, we'll say sexual spectrum for women, like we'll say prime. Okay, they were at the end. One was at the beginning of a woman's prime, and the other was at the end. It's a long way of saying that. And I noticed the interaction between the younger woman and the older woman were very different. Now, when it comes to approaching women, I'm extremely unmotivated because women are just women. I am not really impressed. It's rare that I am. If I encounter an attractive woman and I think she's worth the time, even if it's extremely easy to talk to her, I will strongly consider whether or not I have some random thought that's more important than talking to her. So if I talk to a woman and think she's attractive, she's so attractive that my random thoughts about the length of mice tails in different continents is not important. So hello, hello, hello. Roman T Vids, and then Cool Guy 7212. Thanks for joining. We were talking about women, older women versus younger women in mate selection. I've already put out a video about the importance of marrying or dating or going out with older women. I'm saying older women, I mean women in their early 30s to above that. An older woman is a woman about age 32 up. That's considered an older woman. Now, obviously, she's not an older adult according to human development measures, but in the sexual marketplace value or in the attractiveness scale, that is the end of a woman's sexual prime. But that's when a man's sexual prime begins. Men are not sexually viable as far as like long-term relationships, attractiveness in society until they reach their mid-30s. So it's a very weird thing. If you're a young guy out there, and hello again, Charlie. If you're a young guy out there and you're like, oh, the women aren't really, hollering at me because, I don't have maturity, I don't have money. I mean, real money. I don't have stability and all these things that women actually crave and want. Then forget about women. Just build your life. Date casually, but build your life. Forget long-term relationships. So anyway, getting back to it. I've noticed about younger women is that what I've noticed about younger women is that younger women they're more aggressive. Older women are passive aggressive when it comes to mate selection. So if a young woman looks at you and she finds you attractive, she will get right up in the area where you can access her, unless she's had a trillion guys chasing after her and she's a 10 out of 10 in New York on a hot, cold day, okay? Or she's a 10 out of 10 San Diego girl or LA girl, okay? Those are rare. But if she's, an 8 attractiveness up, she's young, which almost all women that are moderately attractive can fall into 8 very easily. They just do their makeup and work out regularly and do yoga. But she will be more aggressive. She will be more available. She'll make harder eye contact. Why? Because they don't have any life experience. They don't know anything. So they don't know how to select out males more like older women. However, older women are much more considerate. They're much more like they're thinking much deeper about the long-term implications of getting with a man. So I've noticed that young women will get right up in your spot. I mean, they're not gonna get right in my body space, but they will get within proximity so that you can talk to them, you can make eye contact, and they can glance over for half a trillisecond so you can grab their eye contact and start talking to them. Older women, however, they will get like right outside of your perceptual field because they want to know that you're willing to put in the effort to go after them. And that's a smarter, more intelligent, more life-informed decision. But it also makes it a lot harder for them to get with men because men are dull for the most part. I know I have been because, women were very attracted to me. Didn't know it for years. We hung out. We were this and that. Another, had no idea, no clue. Partly because I was worried about like, okay, on the African continent, if mouse tails are this long and then they're this long in Europe, well, perhaps there's a correlation between feed. I think about things like this. I literally would sit in my head and just think, okay, well, this is, anyway. So that's one of the reasons I don't, end up getting with a ton of women. Because I think about other things. So when it comes to mate selection, if you're going to get with an older woman, you're going to get with a woman that knows herself better. You're going to get with a woman that is much wiser. And you're going to get with a woman that has been through enough. And she's going to have, perhaps a little bit of resentment, perhaps some pain, perhaps whatever. Or maybe she built her career and never dated really. And then she's ready to get out into the field and it's like, oops, I'm 33. I'm like at the end of my prime. So think about that. When it comes to younger women, they're aggressive, but they're also very like, they don't know what's going on. They don't necessarily know who they are, especially if they're under the age 25. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they want. And they'll tell you they want you one day. And then 2 seconds later, they say, I didn't want it. Consent becomes very fluid with them. So those are the two kind of things with women. All of this I'm bringing up because we're going to be talking about co-creative sexual intelligence later on, and a video later on. I'm probably gonna get the bad signal in a moment. We're going to be talking about co-creative sexual intelligence, which is pleasure intelligence. It's a very important part of holistic intelligence. Holistic intelligence has 7 nodes. We're going to talk about those and how you can use societal stupidity. How you use societal stupidity to your advantage. You can actually exploit the stupidity or the stupidification, which is not a real word, but I just made it up, but it makes sense. the stupidification of humanity that happens in society, you can actually use that to your advantage. So we're going to talk about that. So let me just cover what pleasure intelligence or sexual, co-creative sexual intelligence is, and then we're going to then I got to shut out. So your creative potential is your divine signal. So that's sexual intelligence has two parts. Okay, the first part is basically mate selection, and that's procreative sexual intelligence. Most people are not allowed to cultivate that. And that's why we have a society that is in shambles with poverty, with destitution, with people having to do jobs. Like, you should never have to work a job. You should desire or choose to. All your other needs should be met because you have been cultivated as a human to provide for your food and shelter. You live in a society that offers options for you that match your lifestyle, implicate your lifestyle intentions. Okay. So, but unfortunately, we don't have that in the world en masse, unless you're in places that are advanced, like Norway, or in some more advanced countries that you find around the world. Unfortunately, you don't have that in societies like the United States yet. You did a long time ago, during the during the antebellum period, believe it or not, and then a little bit before the 1950s. But then everything went to trash. So procreative sexual intelligence is one of the nodes of intelligence that you have to develop in order to live a full apex Christian, full apex human life. But we're going to talk about pleasure intelligence. We'll do the procreative intelligence part. We're going to talk about all of it together, but I'm going to just drive into this one. Sex, older women are amazing. Like I said, I've found them to be amazing, especially for a guy like me that has a certain way of thinking and living and being. Younger women are awesome too, but they're it's like, what do you want? Where are we going? What's going on? Like, do you know where you are? Do you know what your name is? You know what day it is? I'm joking. They're not that stupid, but they're cute. So it's kind of weird for me. I'm willing to date them. But so procreative sexual intelligence is very important when it comes to selecting older versus younger women as a mate, and really women do the mate selection, but men finally cue in and then they pick. Then they say, okay, I'll be picked. But anyway, understand that procreative sexual intelligence is extremely important. Sex is a trap if you are not taught how to utilize the procreative sexual energy. Procreative sexual energy does not just refer to throwing bodies together and making another human. Sexual energy goes into bringing new ideas into the world, bringing new technologies into the world, bringing new concepts into the world, new music into the world, new art into the world, new businesses into the world, new technologies and sciences into the world, new concepts. So sex is not just about smashing body together and making another human. It goes much deeper. So a procreative sexual intelligence means you're not just thinking about my body wants to smash together with another person's body and make another human. You're thinking, okay, is this person going to align with the goals and the outcomes that I want to create in my life? Is my interaction with this person going to further my dreams and contribute to my harmonious contribution to the human story? As apex humans, we cannot play with sex. We cannot waste our energy on it. We cannot lose our energy, and we cannot risk this because we have the atomic codes to destroy our lives or to create beautiful life for other humans in the world. And if you are one of these amazing humans that got a gift, God called you to bring something beautiful in the world. I don't care what your religion belief is. The Most High called you to bring something exceptional to this world. You cannot lose it or waste it on, oh, she's hot. Oh, yeah. Oh, there go my finances. Oh, there goes my spirituality. Oh, there goes my reputation. Oh, there go my kids. Oh, there goes my house. Oh, there goes my soul. Oh, I don't have a reason to live no more. Men. Or ladies, oh, he's just going to answer all of my hamburger. Being with him is going to make me look really cool. And I'm going to feel safe and secure. But he's not going to have the ability to understand your divinity as a daughter of the Most High. And you're going to therefore live one of those lives of quiet desperation. And eventually you're going to cheat on him because you never loved him in the first place. You were marrying him for status. And you're not going to really respect him. Or he fits into the, whatever, right? So we have to be very, very aware and very self-loving when it comes to procreative sexual intelligence. And so mass breeding has led to a global epidemic, a millennial epidemic of we'll say, cognitive impairment. Okay? Mass stupidity is what I'm saying. So there's this cycle of increasing stupidification of the species, unfortunately, and that's because we as apex humans are not properly breeding. We're not intelligent in mate selection. This is one thing the Indians got right, okay? And I'm not talking about Indians like American Indians. I'm talking about Indians from India. The Hindustanis, let's say that. This is something the Hindustanis really got right. Is the caste system, even though they messed it up in the last 2,000 years, it turned to trash. Turned to trash and the idea of arranged marriage. So, adults saying, "Hey, look, this village, this is our clan, and this is their clan. Our clans get along well, and Bobby, you're gonna go marry Sally over there when you get to marriage age. Bobby hits 35. He's been working for 10 years. He's developed a career. He's got a home, or at least he has the funds to purchase a sound, stable, structured home. Sally is, we'll say she's 5 or 6 years his junior, maybe 10 years his junior. And she's gotten her degree now, or at least she's gotten some education. So she's going to be an exceptional creative force in the community. So that they put those two together. Okay, now you guys are ready to marry. Who decides that? Adults that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s that know life. They help the children make better decisions. In the United States, in the West, in the Christian world, unfortunately, we lost that. I know that in my grandparents and great-grandparents' situation, they were still doing some of that culturally, but that has fallen by the wayside. My grandmother's generation was probably the last to do that kind of stuff. So a big part of sexual intelligence is predestined mate selection. And that just goes back to arranged marriage and things like that. Now, marriage for love is not the worst thing in the world, but it is extremely risky. And so if you are chosen, if you're an apex human, like so you're a young person and you have this dream, a big dream, and it feels too big for you, first things first, develop a relationship with God, the Most High, not the one they teach you about in the church, because that guy is flaky at best. I'm talking about the Most High, the one who always has your back and truly's got you, the one that sees you, the one that gave you the desires in your heart, and the one who's going to get you from where you are to where you want to go. Develop a relationship with him or it or the greater power first. Understand how it speaks to you, and then say to it, "Hey, Lord, Source, Bhagwan, Atta, Atman, whoever the highest is, Yahweh, send me my appropriate mate." And then do your own process. Get out there, get to know people, feel their energy, sense how they are around you, see how you feel after being with them. If you encounter a person and you talk to them and you think they're attractive, and then all of a sudden after you're done talking to them, you feel drained or your body feels cold and off, listen to that. Listen to that. So we're going to talk about the seven components of holistic intelligence later on today. Actually, we'll probably do it in like an hour or so. And I'll just list them off really quickly, and then I'm going to get out of here because I got the bat signal. Before we begin, okay, so these are the 7 holistic dimensions of intelligence. It used to be just intellectual intelligence or IQ, intelligence quotient, and then they have EQ. Those are 2 tiny parts. So first is intellectual intelligence. That's usually your IQ, right? And then there's procreative sexual intelligence, what I shared with you guys just now. Then there's emotional intelligence. There's perceptual and physical intelligence, pleasure intelligence or co-creative sexual intelligence, social intelligence, and then spiritual intelligence, which is really super intelligent, super important. So we're going to go into what each of those dimensions are later on. So make sure you subscribe, stay tuned, and we're going to get on that later on. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you drop a like before I get it. Thank you guys for the likes. Just to conclude, when it comes to mate selection, older women tend to be passive aggressive because they're wiser. They plan things out. They look and see what's happening. Younger women tend to be aggressive. And so that was just based on the many encounters with women, but the 2 encounters that I had this morning was a really good reminder. And they were exceptionally attractive women. I mean, these women that could pull just about any guy on a bad day. I would say they were 8.5 in attractiveness up. So the younger one would have fallen into 10. They were both the same attractiveness if they were the same age. Hey, Celtic is like, hey, I wore a blouse like yours today, but I wore it better, and it was pretty a color. Hi there, Apex. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm glad yours was a prettier color. That means you're putting beauty into the world, Celtic Spirits Coven. All right, thanks for joining again. All right, Minimal 2.0. Hey, man, what's up? How you doing? We're just talking about the mate selection. We talked about the mate selection of older women versus younger women, and um, Celtic gave me I don't know, a passive compliment. Not really, kind of. I don't know. But thank you for the comments, y'all. It's fun. It's funny, and I'm enjoying it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, we're going to talk about the 7 dimensions of intelligence. 2 of them are actually sexual dimensions. And we're not taught that we will create a golden age when we reactivate our sexual intelligence. And to be children of the Most High God, we have to be very aware about who we're mating with, because we are sharing, I shouldn't say mating because mating implies long-term relationship, who we are having sex with. That could be a one-night stand. We have to be aware of that because of the influx of spiritual energetics that happen. It's just electromagnetic. What's happening in the sexual engagement is an electromagnetic potential. Oh, that's not the right word. In a sexual engagement, there's an electromagnetic signature that you are resonating with that can either align you with your primary path in this world or take you off of it, depending on the strength of that person's vibration. That's the best way I can. Again, we're using English here, so unfortunately we don't have the deepest tools for it. But we're going to talk about that later on. Okay. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching, and subscribe so that you can see that live when it comes out. And this will be posted like all the videos. It'll be posted as a full video later on, and you can watch it. Thank you for watching. Time to go. Stay Apex.